Hi, everyone. Welcome to Cupixel Studio. Welcome to our Learn with Michael's class. My name is Haley, and I'm so excited today to create or decorate a picture frame for Mother's Day with you all. So we are going to be using the Cupixel app and Smart Trace technology to do this crafty activity. So if you haven't already, please go ahead and download the Cupixel app on your smartphone. And when you enter into the app, you can use this promo code right here, MKCLAS number 1, to get access to absolutely everything on the app for 2 weeks. So that would be, the ability to upload and trace your photo, create a text design and trace that, and explore thousands, or not thousands, about 1,000 classes, artist-led classes. But luckily for you, I'm here with you in real time today. So let's dive in. Actually, before we do that, I'll give everyone a minute to get into the app. Of course, you can always come back to this class tomorrow on YouTube. But for materials, I have a picture frame, 8 by 8 inches. We are going to be using the mat that comes with the frame here to decorate since we have a lot of space here. So I've got my frame ready to go. I've got a pencil and an eraser for tracing. I've got my medium point Posca markers, as well as a gold acrylic marker because I love gold, just my personal preference. I've got a scrap paper if I want to test any colors. And last but not least, I've got, well, actually, I'm going to interrupt myself. Before we get into last but not least, I've got some paper flowers. These are optional. You can use the tracing technology to draw and color flowers on your frame, but I thought it would be fun to make it a little bit more 3D, a little bit more mixed media. So I have an assortment of these ready to go, as well as just some basic craft glue. Now, last but not least, I have the Cupixel device stand. This I'm going to use for tracing with Smart Trace on the Cupixel app. If you don't have one of these, you can just place your phone on something tall, like a tall cup, and you can work with just a simple projection, and I will show you in just a sec. I'm joined by Nick on the cameras and Shirley on the chat. So if you have any questions regarding the app, or for me in particular for this class, feel free to message Shirley and she can pass that along to me if need be. All right, are we ready? Shall we dive in? We're tuning in from Boston, by the way, and it's a beautiful, beautiful day outside. So let's dive in. Okay. All right. So I've got my frame in front of me here with my device stand. My phone's on the stand already. But what I'm going to do is going to take this frame apart. And like I said, I'm going to be decorating the mat. So this paper border here, this paper frame. If you have a thick enough or a wide enough frame, you can absolutely work straight on this. But I'm going to take the frame itself and the glass and the back, and I'm going to put that to the side. So we have that sample photo that's included in your frame and the mat. And I'm going to go ahead and just turn this photo around so we get the back of it, that blank white paper, and we are going to just pretend that this is a regular piece of paper because Smart Trace will not know the difference. So speaking of, we're ready, I'll dive in. And of course I can repeat the process for you if you'd like, but I believe Nick has a little video going on screen as well, so you know how I get to where I'm going. So on the main feed, you'll see all of these different categories. Like I said, so many different artist-led experiences to choose from, but today we are going to be creating together live. So we're going to use My Studio for that. That is that plus icon at the bottom center of your screen. Go ahead and tap that icon. And here you are in My Studio. So you'll see you have 3 tabs at the top: Gallery, Photos, and Text. Photos where you can upload your own photo and trace, text, we'll use that in a little bit, but we're gonna start on gallery because you'll see here I've got tons of different botanical and floral frames, borders, decals, all that good stuff for you to choose from for this project. So I want to select, which one do I like? I love this one. I love this floral frame. So I get that green check mark when I select the outline I want to trace, and then go to start. And because all four corners of my drawing surface are visible to my camera, the app is able to find it and superimpose this outline directly onto it. So I'll go back, show you one more time. Select your outline, green check mark, you're good to head to trace. Boom, all four corners are visible, so the app can find it and superimpose right onto it. So if I did not have this green table mat and I'm working on just a white table, it might be a little difficult for the app to recognize my drawing surface. So if you don't have, or if you're working on a white table or a very light table, you can grab a darker piece of paper or a tablecloth or something just to place underneath so that there is that contrast between your surface and your drawing surface. So from here, I am going to use the drag feature to kind of shrink my border a little bit. I want to bring it just a tiny bit closer to the center so that I have more room for these paper flowers. So centered around the center where your picture or your artwork is going to be. And from here, I can pinch the screen to zoom in, lower my opacity. I like to keep it about halfway, and then I can start tracing. So I'll grab my pencil and just looking through my screen, pinch to zoom in some more, just gonna start tracing what I see. So something you wanna kind of keep in mind is that, things could move a little bit while you're tracing, right? When you put pressure down. So just keep that in mind. I always like to kind of place my non-dominant hand on it to keep it nice and flat. But something else you can do is you can turn auto track off. Just tap that icon on the bottom left of your screen and it won't jump. So if you wanted to, you could actually remove this paper underneath and then just use that green border as a guide while you're tracing. Something else I want to mention before we even get started is that if you don't have the device stand and you're just placing your phone on top of like a tall cup or something like that, you can turn Smart Trace off for a simple projection. You can see that here. So when your phone is flat and your paper is underneath, it should be parallel, so you should be good to trace. So it won't find your drawing surface, but you can use that border as a guide to make sure that everything is straight and aligned. So I'm going to go back to Smart Trace, but because, oh, look at that, never mind. I thought I was going to need my white paper over here. Oh, happy little accident. Okay, so I think that I'd have to, nope, I did not have to drag again. My mistake. So I'm just going to drag one more time, bring it back to where I'd like it. Pinch the screen to zoom in. I'm going to turn auto track off. And again, opacity down. Let's get started. All right, looking good. All right, so, yeah, bring the frame closer. Oh, I absolutely can, yeah. This is good. All right, I might have to, oh, because I turned auto track off. Whoops, it's Monday. Well, what can I say? All right. So, I am not going to trace that straight border. I'm just going to be tracing the leaves and the flowers. And if you are going to be using paper flowers today, like I am, you can actually choose to not trace the flower if you'd like. You can just kind of mark where the flower should go. but I am just following the lines and the details I'm seeing on my screen. So just tracing while looking through my phone screen. This is your first time using the app and Smart Trace. It might be, might feel a bit foreign, a bit weird to start, but take your time, give yourself some grace, and also just know that you don't have to get so precise. The level of precision that you'd get with this tracing is it's insane. So you don't have to follow everything exactly. You'll notice right away some of my lines are a little off. That's okay. I think it adds character. And even if, you're not creating this for Mother's Day, I think this is just such a nice, fun, and easy craft activity to enjoy either by yourself or with your loved one, with your mom or with your child. Be a nice activity to enjoy together for Mother's Day. It's a great last minute gift idea. I gave my mom one of these. I made one last year for Mother's Day and gave it to her. She loved it. But I also included an artwork of my dog in there. And I think she probably liked that a little bit better. But if you would like to do stuff like that as well, we have plenty of artist-led experiences to walk you through it. But I'm going to be making one for my boyfriend's mom this year. She loves this kind of stuff. So maybe I'll just go ahead and make this one for her. I don't know. All right, so I think I'll just kind of trace that flower really quickly, just so I know where to glue my fake flower. And who knows, maybe I'll want to include both of them. All right. All right, almost done. I've got one last little flower to trace over here. Yeah, I will trace this one and I'll decide whether or not I want to do just paper flowers or the drawn flower and a paper flower. We'll see. And if you have any Mother's Day plans, let us know. Curious what's going on. Are you being celebrated or are you celebrating someone? Are you getting spoiled or are you spoiling somebody else? Let me know. I'm taking my mom to Capitol Grill, so she's going to enjoy that. All right, so I'm happy with my border. Like I said, I didn't want to include that remaining border here. But I am going to add some text, I think, to really personalize it. I'm thinking I'll put it up here. But if we go back to artwork, again, you'll see those three tabs at the top: gallery, photos, and text. Let's go to text. And again, totally optional. Let's add text. Now, I'm thinking, you can write a message. You can write your family's last name. You can write, best mom ever, happy Mother's Day, I love you. You could write family, love, a quote, whatever you'd like. I think I'll keep it simple. I'll just write family. So we'll type out the word or phrase that you want to trace, and then we'll tap through the fonts. We'll see which one we like. I love this one personally, so I'm going to tap done. And just like before, get that green check mark. You're good to head to trace. Nick, is my placement okay? Do you want me to bring it closer? Okay, cool. So from here, I'm going to use the drag feature again. And I'm going to move this up over here. Now I want to have a balance, like a composition in my frame here. So I definitely want to make this a lot smaller than it is right now. And kind of have it over like so. Kind of off to the side. You can keep it centered. I think that looks good. So from here, I'll pinch to zoom in again and just follow the lines I'm seeing here. Now I just want to make sure that nothing is too off, right? Perfect. All right, so I'll do auto track off just to make sure that everything stays where it should. I really like to take my time when I'm tracing text because I'm terrible. My penmanship is terrible. It's just awful, even when I'm tracing. So I like to really, really take my time.
By the way, we opened the text editor for this hour.
Oh,
And
thank
after
you.
you can use the promo code.
Yes, okay. So Shirley brought it to my attention. Something I want to mention to you all. This text editor is going to be open for all users for the next hour. So if you want to put in your promo code afterwards and explore everything else on the app afterwards, you totally can. But for the next hour, we'll have this open. So if you are watching this not in real time, tomorrow or whatever day you're watching this on YouTube, you can use this promo code to get access to the text editor. Thank you, Shirley. Any plans for Mother's Day in the chat?
Not yet.
Not yet? All right. I'm also curious if anyone here has, recently given like a handmade or received a handmade gift for Mother's Day or really any occasion. I find that it's so special because you're not just taking the time to search for something that they might like or taking the time to think about, what would they like, right? Or spending money on them. You're taking the time to create something for them. So the amount of effort that goes into this, it's just that in itself is a gift, I think. I think it's an honor. If I were to ever receive something handmade, I think I would just cry.
So no one write anything, but I use the photos to create a wedding card.
Oh, Shirley, nobody's saying anything in the chat right now, but Shirley said that she has used the app to create a wedding card.
Yeah.
Yeah. My sister recently got married, and I was, and still am, maid entirely of honor. No, that was a joke I used in my speech. It went well. I was maid of honor, so I helped her out with a lot of stuff, of course, but mostly with decorations and stuff like that. She did a very, very heavy DIY wedding, and I used the app for absolutely everything. So, a sign for party favors, table seating chart, each table card number, all that good stuff. And it was a lot of fun to do that together. But I'm done tracing. I'm completely done. So I like to kind of just zoom out, bring my opacity down, make sure everything looks good. Yeah. Nick, can I move my phone out of the way? All right. Should I go through one more time?
Yeah.
Okay. So just in case someone's coming in a little bit later, let me show you once more how I got to where I I traced. And look at that, you get a time lapse. Every single time you use tracing technology on the app automatically generates a time lapse of your creation. So you can find all of those from home on the menu, that 3 dots right there, your time lapses. You can put a picture at the end. It's really cool, really, really cool. I highly recommend you check that out afterwards. But yes, so if you are joining a little bit later, you want to see how we got to tracing today, we are using My Studio. So this is the main feed. What you'll see on the main feed, go to My Studio, that plus sign icon at the bottom center, and you'll see 3 tabs up here, Gallery, Photos, and Text. Go to Gallery to select a floral or botanical frame or border for your frame, and use text to create a text design. So, love, Loge, love. Tap through the fonts. You find one that you like. Tap done and go to start. All right. Am I good to put this to the side? All right. Perfect. So let's dive in. I've got my paint markers here, and we got the most difficult, time-consuming part out of the way. Now let's have fun and just make it colorful and bright. If you are making this for mom, or you're just making it for the house, use what colors she would like, use what colors you would like, what color scheme you've got going on in your home. I know that, again, I'm making this for my boyfriend's mom. She loves those bright pastel spring colors, so I think I'll have to incorporate that quite a bit, and she does love gold as well. So I'm gonna grab this lighter green, maybe some yellow for my leaves, and I'll grab this one as well, just in case I want to add some dimension. But I'm going to start with that lighter color, that yellow, and I'm going to go in my leaves to start. For the most part, if I'm using those paper flowers, yeah, okay, everything. All right, let me just drag this. Would make more sense, I think. Right? Good. Okay. Because I'm going to be using these paper flowers, I think a lot of my coloring will be in these leaves. So to make it fun, can make it really colorful, start with your lightest color. Yellow will always be your lightest one, if not white. Then go in with that lighter green. Start to mix it in with that yellow a little bit here and there. These stems. That's why I love these medium tip markers. You can really color in a large area, but also get super, super fine lines, precision, and saturation. I'd go back in with the yellow, kind of introduce it to that green. Are there any rules to mixing and blending colors with these markers? I would say, I wish I had a very, very short and simple answer for you. But in terms of this, when we're working on like small scale, and the colors that you're kind of incorporating or mixing together are similar in brightness and in color, think of the color wheel, it's safe to kind of mix. So I would say a good rule of thumb generally is to start with your lighter color, then layer with your darker color, because say, for example, I went in with my yellow and then, or sorry, for example, if I started with a dark green, then went in with my yellow on top of that green, the tip of this marker is going to be a little bit compromised. It's going to have some of that green mixed in. And while you can kind of use a scrap paper to get that color out, if you do that often, you could, kind of just ruin the integrity of the color that you're using. So I hope that answers your question. But I would say typically, yeah, a good rule of thumb, work, blend with a darker color. Sometimes you'll have to always go back in with that lighter color. So for example, if I go in with this darker green, kind of towards the bottom of the leaves, and I'm going to go in with that lighter green rather than that yellow to blend because they are much closer in color. And even still, get the tiniest little bit of color mixed in. But it's okay because they're similar enough. All right. Now here, I think I'll just kind of color this all in a light green. And add some shadow and detail with my darker green. And then go back in and blend once more. So yeah, the more I'm using it, the more I'm thinking about an answer to that question. And I would say, yeah, always start with your lightest, introduce your just a little bit darker color, then go back in with the lightest. Again, back in with my green. You can see the difference before and after. All right. And then I think back to a little bit of yellow down here. And then I'll move on to the leaves over here. We'll add some color to the text. And then we can add some paper flowers. And I have a lot of white ones here. The reason why I have a lot of white is because you could add color to those. It's paper, right? So I'll show you how I do that. Sometimes you'll get a little bit of a pilling on your marker. Whenever that happens, I like to just take my scrap paper and instead of kind of just like coloring like this, kind of twist and turn. So those paper pills will kind of just slide right off. Okay, I want to add a little bit more yellow, bring that back in.
Normal anything that you asked about Mother's Day time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have my daughter move from the drawing.
You,
Um,
so,
What the mother's day?
That is quite the Mother's Day. So for people who did not hear, Shirley is spending her day helping her daughter move out of the dorm.
Yeah.
You know, when I graduated college, I graduated on a Sunday. It was Mother's Day.
Oh.
And we had to move out immediately after. I was like, oh yeah, here's your diploma. Bye. Don't come back. My mom was not happy. And I also lived on the 18th floor.
Oh.
And one of the elevators were broken.
Oh.
So yeah, I hope it's not as awful for you, Shirley. Hope you have a much smoother experience moving your daughter out. Oh my gosh, I do not miss that. Do not miss that. So stressful. It's like how often a year? How many times a year?
If you don't move, then only, once in, once out.
Once in, once out.
Yeah, and if you don't move.
So many students just leave stuff.
Yeah, but over the summer, yeah, you gotta move out.
Oh, no, I mean, when they move out, like, I'm working at UMass.
Yeah, join the party.
When I was working at UMass, the students would just leave like fridges and microwaves, TV.
Oh yeah,
They didn't feel like bringing them.
you're not on the mic. Well, just to reiterate, when Nick worked out of school, he would see a lot of stuff that students would leave around. Lots of TVs, lots of microwaves, fridges, stuff like that. Honestly, I've done that. I've done that. Yeah, it's just like there's quite literally no room in the car. I'm like, this is a super old fridge that pretty sure I found on the side of the road. Probably the same thing. Someone didn't want they didn't have enough room. Also, while we're here, since Nick is chiming in, we go live twice a week on the app. Nick joins us for all of them, and they're lots of fun. I would definitely recommend you join us. They are on Tuesdays in the afternoon, little creative break, and Thursday evenings. So Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. Central time, right? That's correct. And Thursdays would be 6 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Central time. So if you are curious about what goes on in the lives, I invite you to come check it out. I do say so myself. We have a lot of fun. All right. I think I'm going to add some color to the family. And I think I'm going to do gold. I think I just got to do gold. I'm going to bring my acrylic gold marker here. And Nick, I'm actually just going to flip it around. That's cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
Work upside down.
Why are you working upside down?
Well, there's a few reasons why I'm working upside down. One, I don't want to, just in case any of this is wet, I don't want to rest my hand and then move it elsewhere and have it kind of like stamp. So that's one reason. And two, I was just about to share, I don't know if this applies to text, but when I was in school, when I was in college, I didn't go to art school, but I did study the arts. Let me just say, I learned a good technique for drawing faces, specifically your own face, because it's so hard to, see a face or see yourself or someone even get past your own like biased perspective. So what we would do is we would take our reference photo and we'd flip it upside down, and we would flip our paper or our canvas upside down as well. And when you do that, you're just looking at shapes and lines rather than the recognizable features and stuff like that. So with text, because I'm so terrible with text, I'm flipping it upside down to see if, I just kind of take away that need to be perfectly straight, just kind of following what I'm seeing here.
Looks like a much cooler language now.
It does look a cool language, huh? Yeah, I didn't even, yeah. It's cool how you can kind of shift your brain.
Yeah.
Like, it's a classic white and gold or blue and black situation. That dress. If you guys saw that, if you remember that meme that just divided the internet, the blue and black or white and gold, please tell me what color you saw and if you're able to see both. I was able to see both. When I first looked at it, this is like, oh my God, like 2014 or something like that. I was like, that's white and gold. And I thought,
Yeah, same
The-
exact thing for me.
I really thought the internet was pranking me. Like everyone was just kind of like, it was like an inside joke. Let's just say it's blue and black. Because I could not for the life of me understand how anybody was able to see blue and black. Now I can look at that photo and kind of turn it off and on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's so interesting.
And what's the other one? It's an audio one. It's like Laurel and
Oh, Yanny and Laurel.
Annie.
Oh,
Like, you're like,
that's
those are so
weird.
different. How could I possibly hear them both?
But you can hear them
Like,
both.
absolutely can. Yeah.
That's so interesting. And then there was another one with like a shoe. It was
Mhm.
like blue and gray or pink and white,
Yeah.
something like that. So cool. All right, let's turn it around. Let's see. All right, looks good. I'm going to use a little bit of gold elsewhere too. Then I'll get my paper flowers on here. But I actually think I'm going to do one more thing, and that is kind of creating like a shadow in the lettering. So if I take a black, just kind of go on one side, just kind of lightly outline everything. And keep that side consistent. Kind of make the letters look like they're a bit more 3D. Just using a light hand because I don't want to make too thick of a line, and it's okay if it skips a little bit. It looks a little bit more rustic that way.
Yeah. Like speaking of the mind and illusions, right when you put it down, I saw like how it kind of skipped a bit. But now I almost, once I look away and look back, I can't see it as separate from the letters. Almost.
Yeah. I think I could do a little bit over here as well. All right. Cool. Let's grab a little bit of gold. Get these guys over here. I think I gotta. I'm gonna do paper flowers. So I'm gonna do that in just a sec, actually. But I want to add, kind of want to outline these leaves here. Have it be kind of like a floating silhouette. I don't know. I'm just having fun with it. Make it unique and different. Maybe a couple over here as well. But right after this, I am going to get ready with my paper flowers, and then we'll call it a beautiful day. I'll show you how to put that frame back together because, of course, if you're using the paper flowers, you have that 3D element to it. So where do you put the glass? You don't get rid of it, you put it behind. So I'll show you in just a sec. But as far as these flowers go, I want to make sure that when I kind of pop it back in the frame that there's no, the flower's not being hidden. So if I want to take a big flower like this, I would definitely move it up a bit, but I also don't want it to take away from all the work I did. So I'm thinking a smaller flower would be better for this. Let me see. Got one of these right here. So I could erase the lines underneath, or I could kind of pretend like this flower is layered, and I'll color this flower in. So let's see, what colors are we thinking? I love a pink. I love a good pink. Yeah, think pink. So what I'll do first is I'll outline with this darker pink. I know I don't have to worry about the center of the flowers too much. We'll go in with that lighter pink and fill it all in. And then to build some dimension, we can go back in with a little bit of this darker pink. Right on the end of each petal. Create more of a separation between each petal. And then go back in with that pink one more time. Just go right on top of that darker pink, bring it into that lighter pink, and that's how we get a nice blend. I'm gonna let that dry before I glue my flower, but I do want to show you how you can actually go ahead and just color these. So I'll use my little scrap paper. Can you see, Nick?
Yep.
All right, cool. And, oh, that one doesn't look very centered. That's okay. Give myself 2 seconds to find another one. My 2 seconds is up. That's all right. So if you wanted to kind of keep that color consistent, I think I want to make it a little bit more warm. Take this light peach color. That's pretty. And maybe a little bit of that lighter pink as well. But what I'm going to do is just go right around in the center. And if you don't have like a little gem or anything in the center, you can just kind of color in the center of your flower. Kind of make your way to the start of each petal, how it starts to separate. I'm going to take this light pink, a little bit of a pilling going on, so just getting rid of that. Kind of mix it in with this orange, and again, just kind of take that color, drag it out. And then, because this is such a small scale and we use such a light color here, it's safe to go in with that white and kind of blend all that out. Just make sure you're kind of taking off that any pilling that's going on, or it gets too complicated. But again, this is totally optional. You don't have to color in your paper flowers. You don't even have to add paper flowers if you don't want to, but I think this will create a nice, cool 3D kind of look. So I'll just take the tiniest little bit of glue. pop my flower down here in the center of this one. Press. Good. Now for this one up here, of course, I don't have any flowers that kind of look like they're bent up like that. So what I could do is just kind of fake it, pretend like it's any other flower. I don't want to switch up the flower this time. Do something a little bit different. It needs to be big enough to cover the ones underneath. I don't want to do this one. No, I don't want to do that. What do you think, Nick?
It's a little big.
It's too big, I think. Yeah, it's too big. All right. See, I have a lot of fun with these paper flowers. It's easy to get overwhelmed, though, and carried away. So I think maybe what I'll do is I'll take maybe a slightly bigger flower like this and glue a slightly smaller flower on top and get creative. What do we think? Nick, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking. I don't really like is that like chrome?
Yeah, I don't like it either,
Big
especially
fan
with
of
the
the chrome.
gold. Let's do another one of these.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Safe.
So I'm going to erase this underneath. I know where my flower is going to go. I think let's make this one like a purple and a pink. I think that'd be nice. So I'll start again, purple in the center. And we'll go in with that darker pink. Blend it out into the petals. And again, we'll go in with a darker pink. Actually, sorry, lighter pink. Just want to make sure I get the pilling off my markers as I go. Make them last as long as I possibly can. Blend. So I just want to give you all a heads up and the opportunity to ask any questions before we call it a day, because we are just finishing up here. So if you want to include any questions for me or Shirley or anyone in the chat, feel free to do so now. Whoops. And then at any point after this class, you need any assistance with anything on the app, you can always reach out to our support team by tapping the question mark icon at the top right of your screen on the app, not on the Zoom. And there we have it. So I want to put my frame back together. Oops. Instead of putting my glass there, glass or plastic, I'm going to first put my mat, place it in nice and carefully. Then, if you have a photo or an artwork that you want to put in, you can. I'll just use this same little sample photo. No, wait, I messed it up. I messed it up. Okay, glass first. Preserve your photo or your artwork. Then we'll place that in. There we go. And then we'll place the back, secure it. And there you have a custom decorated picture frame. I hope you all enjoyed this one as much as I did. I think this kind of craft is a lot of fun and it's super easy with Smart Trace. There's plenty more experiences like this on the app. So if you wanted to explore those, you absolutely can because you have your 14-day free trial on the app, access to absolutely everything you could possibly think of. So feel free to check out more crafts, more Mother's Day artwork experiences as well for more ideas, lots of greeting card ideas as well. Shirley, Nick, am I missing anything? All right. Well, I hope.
Maybe the stand, but they got the stand.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you. If you continue with your Cupixel membership after the 14-day free trial, we will ship you a Cupixel device stand for free.
And they can share.
And you can share your membership. You continue with your membership with 3 other people. So it's a 4-person family membership, not just one. So share the love, share the creativity after your 14-day free trial. And as always, reach out to support if you need anything. But I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Monday and a wonderful Mother's Day. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, everyone.